Good day and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Today we are going to be talking about Eric by Terry Pratchett. So this is a Discworld book, and yes, I'm finally getting back into Discworld, the hilarity, the absurdity, the craziness that is Discworld. So if you are interested in what I have to say about Eric, stay tuned, that is coming right up. Okay, so Eric, if you have not read Discworld, then you probably don't know that this is a Rincewind book. If you have read Discworld, then you know this is a Rincewind book with a little bit of Death thrown into the mix. Death is probably one of my favorite characters from Discworld, and Rincewind is, well, the universe's most incompetent wizard. Eric, on the other hand, he's a wannabe. He's essentially a wannabe demonologist. He's this 13-year-old bratty kid who decides one day that he's going to summon demons to this realm. Except he doesn't summon demons. He inadvertently summons Rincewind, the world's, universe's most incompetent wizard. And so we have an adventure that takes place between Eric and Rincewind. See, Eric, he wants something. He wants to be ruler of the world. He wants to be a king. He wants to be filthy, stinking rich. He wants to be surrounded by beautiful women. And he thinks that Rincewind is supposed to be able to grant him his 3 wishes, but things do not go as planned as they start out their adventure together. This book takes us on an adventure through time as we speed through the annals of history to the ancient Mayan civilization with their temples and their crazy gods demanding their blood sacrifices. We even at one point find ourselves back to the beginning of time, even before such a thing as time even existed. We wind up in this blank and utterly black, empty void. We don't know where we are. We seem to find ourselves somewhere before even the Big Bang itself happened, before the universes as we know to exist. Now we eventually find our way back, but in order to find our way back, we've got to make our way through hell. That's right, we gotta go through hell, literally hell. Not just hell as in a bad time, I mean hell as in literally hell. And this is just a grand adventure in this book, through time, space, the universe, and hell. So yeah, so as short as this book is, it's got a lot of adventure and a lot of hilarity to it. This is a very typical style that we've come to expect from Terry Pratchett and his Discworld book series. And honestly, I think at this point, this might be one of my favorite Discworld books yet, even though it is such a small book. It's essentially a novella. It's 155 pages, or at least my copy of it is. But it was hilarious from start to finish. Some of my favorite scenes within this book, well, I suppose that might get a bit spoilery, but I will say that some of my favorite scenes in this book have to do with the kind of Amazonian type native tribes and the god that they made out to be kind of a parody of the South American god Quetzalcoatl, or the feathered serpent god. And it turns out Eric's desire to be king didn't really end up the way that he wanted it to be. And I'll just kind of leave it at that, because I do kind of want to leave things spoiler free. But that was one of my favorite parts of this story, is when Eric, you know, basically becomes the king of these people, but he doesn't realize what the end result of being king of these people actually means for him and everything that happens with that. And I can't even pronounce the name of the god, the name of this god that they gave, or the name of the god that's supposed to be this parody of Quetzalcoatl, but it is very obviously a parody of the feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl. And it's just hilarious. One of the other aspects that I really loved about this story is the demons themselves in this story. They're hilarious. So one of the scenes that I really liked was between like the demon king, the ruler of hell, and his conversation with the fake Quetzalcoatl. I'll just call it the fake Quetzalcoatl because I say Quetzalcoatl. Anyway, one of my favorite scenes between those two was where the Demon King was basically saying, what the heck, man? You've spent all your time influencing these people to be nothing better than a bunch of, axe murdering thugs, when in reality what you could have done is you could have taught them to better themselves in their position and be better people and to benefit mankind throughout the entire Discworld. And by doing so, you could have dulled their brains through theocracy and taxation and basically turned them into mindless slave drones. But no, what a waste. You had to teach them to go kill each other instead. And there's all this needless bloodshed. I just found that kind of hilarious, the way that was happening, because you got the one demon who thinks, I'm doing such a good job. Look what I've done. I've caused all this bloodshed and death and all this kind of stuff. But then you've got basically the devil saying, yeah, what a bunch of wasted lives. We could have had them. We could have been controlling them through taxation and bureaucracy. But no, you had to go and throw it all away and just turn them into nothing but a bunch of axe murderers. What a waste. I really like that aspect, and it's typical Terry Pratchett comedy built within this book that makes it that entertaining, that makes Discworld itself so entertaining, and I absolutely loved it. So those are some of the aspects I really, really enjoyed about this book. If there's any criticism or critique that I can give for this book, I would say that it's too short, that I would have loved to have so much more adventure with Eric and Rincewind together on this adventure. It was just too short in my opinion. And I think it would have been much better as a longer book. Or rather, I wanted it to be longer. But in any case, those are just some of my thoughts on this particular book and on Discworld's book, Eric specifically. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And, as always, if you do want to support this channel on Patreon, you can support me there on Patreon for as little as $1 per month. I do have a Discord if you want to join there. And, as always, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Until then, keep on reading. Bye.